jumping. Done. Done. Okay, that's how you take a quadra kill. Today I teach you how to become aiming machine. Roll the intro. What's up world, my name is Charlatan and you're watching Valorant 101, the place where I spend hundreds of hours in custom games and practice mode so you don't have to. I'm a former professional CSGO and PUBG player. I've also played Overwatch, Quake and CS 1.6 on the highest possible levels with over 20,000 hours in FPS games. I know, it's too much, it's really too much. Today I'm going to teach you how to improve and achieve godlike aim in Valorant and any other FPS game in general. We are going to cover some really important topics today, so make sure that you watch this video from the beginning to the end. And let's jump straight into the action. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be much more personal tutorial and guide. I'm going to coach you and explain you in depth, step by step, everything that you need to do in order to achieve that godlike aim in Valorant. If you follow all of these steps, I promise you that you will become much better aimer and overall better player in Valorant. There are three things that impact your accuracy when you're shooting in Valorant. First, there is natural inaccuracy of weapon. What does that mean? That means that every weapon is inaccurate by itself. Like, you cannot hit two same shots with any weapon. Like, there's always natural inaccuracy of weapons. Second thing, there is a shooting recoil inaccuracy or so-called spray patterns of the gun. So every gun has its own spray pattern, which in Valorant is not constant. So, for an example, this is the spray pattern of Phantom, but this spray pattern is not constant. It changes after 8 or 9 bullets. So, look at it now. Now, it's a bit different. Before I shot this one had like much more bullets going left and right. This one was kind of straight, going left, going back to the right side. So, every weapon has kind of random spray control, but that recoil, that spray pattern directly affects your accuracy. And third thing that impacts your accuracy of weapons is movement inaccuracy. So when you're moving faster, your accuracy suffers. For an example, if I'm moving like this, you see, I'm totally inaccurate. I'm a potato. If I'm moving like this, same, I'm a potato. So the faster you run, the faster you move, the more inaccurate you become. So, should you be standing in place? Should you be crouching all the time? Should you be jumping? I'm gonna explain you everything step by step. So, hold on my friends, we need to start from the beginning. So you need to find the balance between your shooting and between your movement. You need to move and shoot, move, stop and shoot, move, stop and shoot, move, stop and shoot, move, stop and shoot. So let's start with the tip or step number 1 to achieve your godlike aim, and that is finding your perfect mouse settings. I already covered the mouse settings and finding your perfect sensitivity in my Ultimate Valorant settings tutorial, which you can watch right here now. Second step to improve your aim in this game is finding and tuning your perfect crosshair. So the crosshair is really important because you are going to watch at that crosshair a lot of times in Valorant. And like, there is no really any rule to this, it's everything personal. What I personally recommend you is to keep your crosshair as bright as possible. Try to find some color that is not like white. White crosshair is really bad. It really blends with some parts of the map. Like, don't go white, try green, try yellow green, try the cyan color is amazing because it's different from almost every other surface. Try something that's more noticeable. I use green because I'm coming from CSGO. You can use whatever you want. And try to keep your crosshair a bit smaller. You can use dot, you can use the crosshair that I'm using. Just don't go overboard, like don't do like something like this. You don't want this. We are not playing Roblox. You want the perfect normal crosshair. Like, try using something that I'm using, or try finding something that works for you. So this is mine crosshair, or you can use something that works for you. One general rule of thumb that can help you as a beginner is to enable the firing errors of your and movement error of your crosshair. So for an example, when you are moving, your crosshair is going to widen up or it's going to shrink. When it shrinks, it means that you are perfectly accurate. When it's like this wide open, that means that you are inaccurate and that you are going to miss your shot. So look at this now. So pa, pa. We're gonna shrink it again. Shrink. Shrink. And now we are moving to the third step of this godlike aim tutorial. You need to find your daily warm-up routine and use the goddamn practice map in Valorant. This practice map is everything that you need. Like, this is the holy grail of your practice. You don't need anything else to warm up and practice your aim. How do I personally warm up in Valorant? So first, what I love to do is I love to spawn the bots. I love to spawn all the bots, like these ones, and I just come like between them, like somewhere here, and I just start shooting at them at different angles. Shoot, shoot, adjust, shoot, strafe, shoot, strafe, shoot, strafe, shoot. So I start with one tapping, and I try to move as much as possible. You want to move in this game. You want to keep moving. You want to keep shaking that butthole at all times. Well, not your butthole, but your bums. Start shaking, stop moving. So this is how you warm up your wrist and your whole arm with those one-tap flicks. So try to do both types of flicks. Try to do right flicks and try to do left flicks at the same time. Don't do like something like this. This is really stupid. Like you don't want to do this. Like, you're not going to flick your enemies at all times at the right side. You want to do left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Then turn around, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. That is how I warm up at the beginning when I jump into Valorant. I never start the game of Valorant without warming up. Like, you never want to do that. Ever in your life. You're just going to suck, and your aim will suffer, and you will feel bad because you're losing games. You want to be warmed up. Now, to the second part of my warm-up routine, which you want to do every single time before you start any game of Valorant. You want to take any gun that you like in this game. Like, don't practice only with Phantom, don't practice only with Vandal, try using different guns. For an example, I loved using Phantom and Vandal and Sheriff. So you can use Guardian for an example, like any gun that you like. I'll use actually Phantom in this tutorial, it doesn't matter. So, you want to practice this type of movement. You want to run around, stop, shoot at the head of the enemy, flick to the other guy, start running again. So you want to run, stop, shoot, running again, stop, shoot, and you want to perform this type of motion as much as possible. Headshots in this game are extremely important, but so is the spraying and spray pattern. So you don't want to just do this all the time. You want to go to the second stage, the second step of your warm-up. So right now, what I want you to do is, because sometimes your crosshair will not be at the head of the enemy, I want you to put your crosshair a bit below their head, like somewhere underneath the neck, like somewhere here, and start spraying. So you wanna practice spraying, spray, spray. Tap 3 to 4 bullets at every single target that you wanna kill. Also, what you're learning while you're doing this is how much time does it take for you to kill an enemy with a spray to the body. So instead of just doing this, for an example, and leaving the target alive and he's unable to kill you, you can actually start to notice how much time does it take you to kill these bots. And then you can also adjust if they have small armor, if they have armor, if they doesn't have armor, etc. and so on. So you want to start controlling your spray and killing the actual bots. In this game, it's really easy to go for those one taps. Basically, Vandal and Guardian are one tap headshot machines at any rate. But also is the Marshal and Operator, especially Marshal, because Marshal you can actually use without the scope, which is really great. Why is the Marshal so underrated weapon which you can use? It's because the body shot deals 101 damage, which means you can kill the enemy that doesn't have armor at any distance with body shot or headshot. That is insane amount of power when the enemies are doing the eco rounds and they are not buying armors, and you can deal a lot of damage. You don't even have to zoom in with Marshal. You can just see with your crosshair if you're accurate or not. So for an example, that is why the crosshair with movement speed error, the movement error and firing error is really good for the beginners. You can actually notice when your shots are accurate or inaccurate. It's amazing. It's really amazing weapon. Just amount of power and amount of things that you can do with this weapon is incredible. So you can practice that. You can practice the quick scopes at body or quick scopes at head level. It doesn't matter. So try to practice different types of gun. Don't only stick to the Phantom. You're not gonna have Phantom like 24 rounds. You're going to have other guns as well. Guardian is amazing for one tapping. So this is what I do for my warm-up routine. You should do this routine for at least 15 to 30 minutes every day, maybe even more if you have more time. Which means the more time you invest in this, the better you are going to be at the actual game. You always wanna move before you are going to shoot, which means that you don't wanna be immobile. Never do this, never do this. So if you have like 5 enemies that are engaging you, you don't wanna do this. Yeah, that is the last thing you want to do. You want to be swift. You want to be strafing, counter strafing, including all movement techniques that I've taught you in this game in my previous video. You want to keep moving, keep ducking, keep doing different types of movement in order to be the hardest target for your enemies, and in the same time to be as precise as you can. Include different types of movement. I'm gonna cover them all later on in this tutorial. Don't worry. But the main technique that you wanna learn for now and practice while you are warming up is strafing. You wanna do strafing and counter strafing. You can see in the bottom left corner how I perform these types of movement. You can see how I'm pressing the A and D button and how my crosshair is reacting and being accurate at a certain point of time. So basically I'm running to the A side, then I press D fast, then I release A, press D fast, D, A, D, A, D, A, D, A, D, A, D, A. It's really simple strategy that you can use, and it's really going to give you such a great amount of advantage over the enemy that is totally immobile. Strafing and counter strafing are the 2 most important things in Valorant. Fourth tip or fourth step to becoming better aimer or like generally better player is that you always want to play against better players, and you always want to have some kind of mentor. In this scenario right now, I'm the one that is coaching you. So watch my streams and pay attention on my crosshair placement. Or you can play with your friends that are much better than you, and you can learn a lot from the people that are just better at game from you. Just try to soak in as much as possible information as you can. Don't be stubborn. Don't be like, oh, he is just lucky, he is cheating, he is this. No, maybe he's just playing better than you. Try to learn and try to get some kind of mentor. You can subscribe to my channel because I'm going to coach you through everything step by step, or you can find someone in real life, some of your friends. That is really important, and that is going to improve not only the way you're going to place your crosshair, the way you're going to aim, the way you're going to think, but also your general game sense, gameplay, everything is going to improve much faster. As soon as you start playing against and with better players, you are going to become much better. If you stick with noobs your whole life, you are going to stay the noob. Fifth step that you wanna improve while you are aiming or to achieve that godlike aim is your crosshair placement. I see a lot of people that are doing this, engaging like this, going like this. Don't do that. Place your crosshair always at the height of the enemy's head, or at least where you think the enemy's head should be. And always place it at the corners or the positions where you think the enemy might come. So never do this. Like, you're not gonna shoot them in the legs and flick them in the head. Why would you do that when you can engage like this? And you, shot to the head, straight to the head. Like, don't do like shots, like you're not making them dance. Make them die. Make them fucking die. That's what you wanna do. Pay a close attention at your crosshair placement. Always keep it at the head level of your enemies, and always try to engage corners, already pre-assuming that the enemies are behind that corner. So always keep your crosshair at corners and always place it at the enemy's head height. For an example, you know that enemy is here. You wanna place that crosshair here. So when you engage him, you can instantly snap to his head or his body. If you place your crosshair here, you'd engage him like this, you'd have to reposition here and then shoot. While you're doing that, your enemy has such an easy advantage and he can kill you instantly. Especially if he has operator or some kind of sniper, you are donezo, my friend. Now, sixth step of this tutorial, there are two types of aiming. Wrist aim, which is when you move your mouse only from the wrist. This is wrist aim. And second type of aim is so-called elbow aim, when you're aiming with your whole arm. So this is elbow aim. Now, you want to practice both of these aiming techniques. The elbow aim or the full arm aim is used when you want to just flick your mouse to the targets. So this technique is used to flick your mouse to the targets or position yourself right where you think the targets are. For an example, the enemy shooting behind you, you're using the elbow air, we are going to call it the arm aim, like whatever. You're using your arm aim in order to position your whole character, the crosshair, where you think the enemy might be. So you think the enemy is there, he's shooting you from here, and you are doing this. Then what you want to do with your wrist aim, you are repositioning your crosshair and trying to shoot the enemy in the head or in the body. So try practicing both types of these aiming techniques, like your elbow aim and your wrist aim. Some players that are using really low sensitivity, they're only practicing the elbow aim because they cannot perform this. They cannot perform 180 turnaround. They can only do, they are doing this because they don't have enough mousepad. Or, for an example, if you are simple, like simple in CSGO has 3.14 sensitivity. That is enormous in CSGO. And he is able, with wrist aim, to do this. Like I need my whole elbow, my whole swipe to the right to do 180 degrees. He only needs to do this, and he's already 180. It's impossible for me to hit 180 like this. So how do you practice those two techniques, and what do they actually mean in the FPS game? They are used for two types of aiming, and that is tracking and snapping. Snapping is when you are trying to actually snap at your target. So you're trying to position your crosshair at the target. You're trying to position your crosshair where you think the target might be. So you're using your elbow to snap, and you're using your wrist aim to reposition your crosshair to the body of your target. So your elbow, your arm, is being used to reposition your crosshair where you think the enemy might be, and then you adjust it with your wrist aim. Tracking is the second technique of aiming, where you want to track the enemy. Like for an example, the enemy is never going to be this stationary. He is going to be moving like this. And you want to try to keep tracking those bots, or you can track friend, or you can just simply put a dot at the wall and try tracking that dot as much as you can. Then start tracking the bots again. And that is how you are actually training your wrist aim and your elbow aim to be as much as precise as possible. TLDR, what does that mean? That means that you need to practice your flicks, and you also want to try to practice repositioning your aim. So if you miss with your flick the enemy, okay, I hit that enemy right now, but if you miss him like here, try repositioning your aim and try killing him then with your wrist. So this is how you train your elbow for flicks, and this is how you train your wrist. Elbow, then flick back to the target if you miss him. If you hit him, that's great. Don't do it with multiple targets, because it's really stupid to do that with multiple targets. Just do with one target. So you miss him, reposition. Okay, I just revealed my previous name, and I literally said my name right now, so I had to cut right here, but you get the point. So practice those two types of techniques as much as you can, my dear friends. Now we are going to the 8th part of this tutorial, and that is utilizing your crouch. Crouch actually makes you aim better. What does that mean? The crouch reduces the vertical recoil of your gun. For an example, this is the spray control when you are not crouching. You see, it's a bit of vertical recoil, but when you're crouching, this is your spray. It's significantly reduced. Like, not significant, it's like 10% or so, like I don't know, 20% maybe. But it helps you aim better. But don't use your crouch all the time, and don't be a mother effing standing duck. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. What you want to do, how you want to utilize your crouching technique, is when you engage in a fight with enemy and you are shooting with, okay, what the hell, and you're shooting with the enemy, like you shoot at the enemy and enemy starts shooting at you, you want to crouch because of two things. First thing is that enemy is going to miss you because he will probably reposition his crosshair at your head position, and when you crouch, you are going to make him miss those shots. But in the same time, you are going to make your aim much more precise. For an example, you started spraying like a mother effing machine, like this. You want to crouch in order to reposition your aim from here to here, and utilize this technique as much as possible. And don't crouch all the time. As soon as you finish your clip, your magazine, or you kill the enemy, stand up, reload, try to reposition yourself, engage in a fight again. You will not see me crouch all the time. You will never see me do crouching more than like 2 times in one round, because it's really important to keep your aim stable while you are moving and while you are strafing. Strafing and moving and counter strafing are the most important techniques in this game to learn. You need to learn how to move and how to strafe and counter strafe in order to have that perfect advantage over your enemy. Now I'm going to show you one more technique that you can use to improve your aim, the spray transfer. So sometimes when the enemies engage you, like for example there are 4 enemies engaging you, you're trying to kill one guy, but you kill him and there are still 4 guys. There is no time for you to reset your aim and to shoot the other guy. So what you want to do and try to practice is aim transferring. That means that you transfer your crosshair from one target to another, but in one motion, while you are still shooting your magazine. That is like the easiest way to practice that is in death matches, but the Valorant doesn't have a death match at the moment. So how you can do it with bots, basically make them strafe, make them do some kind of weird movements, and try practicing this technique in this practice area. For example, like this. You're trying to kill this bot, then try transferring to this bot, try transferring to this bot. So you want to learn the spray transfer as well. You need to spend a lot of time in this practice area in order to achieve that aim that you really want to. Like, it's everything comes with time. Like, you cannot achieve it in 1 hour, 1 minute, or just by watching this video. You need to actually put your work, your heart and soul into this game if you really want to be a professional Valorant player, or if you want to be good at this game. And one more thing that I'm going to cover, since we are talking about recoil and all of that things. In Valorant, we don't have like the exact recoils for the guns. Like in CSGO, every time you shoot with AK, the recoil is same. In Valorant, after 8 or 9 bullets, the recoil becomes kinda random. What you wanna do, how you're gonna practice recoil in this game, is actually try following the barrel of your gun instead of following your crosshair. I don't know how simply to explain you this technique of aiming, but basically you need to focus your eyes on your barrel and on the enemies at the same time, because your barrel of the gun is actually showing you if your bullets are going to go left or right, so you can easily adjust your horizontal recoil. For an example, look at this movement here. So my barrel goes left, I go right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And that is how you perfectly adjust your recoil, horizontal recoil in this game. Vertical recoil in Valorant is really easy. Basically, you just slightly need to pull your gun down. Just slightly. It's not that big, so you don't have to worry about it so much. Focus yourself on the end of your gun, the barrel of your gun, and try focusing on your crosshair at the same time while killing enemies. It requires practice, it requires some time, but I believe in you. I truly believe that you can do it. Anything is possible with good amount of training, and like that's how we work. The humans are basically learning machines. We can learn anything in life, no matter how hard or how complicated some things are, or how bad you are. You can be the worst FPS gamer ever, but you are able to improve over time. Now, the 9th thing that you want to know is how to peek angles in this game and how to hold them as well. So at number 9 we have peeking angles: shoulder peek, duck peek, jiggle peek, jump peek, and slow peek. I've covered all of these type of movements in my previous tutorial about the movement guide in Valorant, but I'm gonna briefly tell you everything again. So when you are peeking an angle, you always want to position your crosshair at the place where you think the enemy might be. So if you are engaging an enemy with a wide peek, you want to position your crosshair where you think the enemy might be next. So you want to check every single corner when you're checking some kind of area. So let's say for an example, this is the bomb site, and the enemy might be anywhere. So the first corner that you want to check is this one. You want to position your crosshair at the next angle where you think the enemy might be, and you want to wide peek him, or shoulder peek him, or jiggle peek him. You can do whatever technique you want. Basically, shoulder peek is when you just peek him with your shoulder, like fast peek left and right. Wide peek or Ferrari peek is when you peek him really wide open, where you already know that the enemy is at that position. Duck peek is when you peek the enemy while you are ducking or when you're crouching. The jiggle peek is basically when you peek the enemy, shoot one bullet, and you go back. And the slow peek is when you peek the enemy with left shift. If you think the enemy is, like for an example, standing right at this box, you can slow peek him because you are going to see him before he sees you, because of the angles and perceptions in this game. So these are the 5 types of peeking angles in Valorant or any other FPS game that you play, and you want to master all 5 of these techniques. When you are engaging an enemy at the bomb site or any type of terrain in Valorant, you always want to check every single corner, and your crosshair must be at the edge of the angle that you are engaging. So already pre-aim or already put your crosshair at the place where you think the enemy might be. So you think the enemy might be here, 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 or here, for an example, and here. What you want to do, you want to position your crosshair at the place where the enemy might be. Bam, headshot. Again, bam, headshot. Bam, headshot. Bam, headshot. Bam, headshot. Then we have here bam, headshot. Then we have this corner, headshot. You never want to do this. You are not an Uber driver. You're not a taxi driver. Never, but never do that. That is bad. That is going to make you die instantly. Like, never do this. Never. You always want to be rough in this game. You wanna cut those corners. You wanna make yourself fluid as possible and the hardest target possible for your enemies. And remember to always clear every single corner. This is something that you can easily practice in every single map of Valorant. Just go to the maps, go play, start any map at custom games and start cleaning the corners. Basically start cleaning A sites, B sites, see where the enemies might be, watch other streamers play the game and see how they clean the corners, etc. So you need a bit of map knowledge, but in the same time you need that discipline to know when and how to engage them at a certain angles. And at number 10 we have vice versa situation where you are holding a certain angle. For an example, you are holding this angle here and the enemy is coming from this side. What you want to do is you want to know if the enemy is running or shifting at you. You never want to position your crosshair here because you don't want to flick him. You want to shoot as soon as you see him. So the enemy can perform wide peek, he can perform the slow peek, he can perform the duck peek, he can perform the jump peek. So you want to know and try to predict what your enemy is going to do. Is he going to engage you slow? Is he going to engage you fast? Like, try to predict, try to listen the footsteps and see if he is running or shifting. If the enemy is shifting, you want to position your crosshair at the edge of the angle that you're holding, so you will be able to shoot him fast. If the enemy is like running and wide peeking you, you want to position your crosshair somewhere around here. Like, try to keep a distance from the angle because he's going to be so fast. Like, he's going to basically peek you like this, man, and you won't have any time to react. Pre-aiming and pre-shooting techniques are very important. Pre-aiming is everything. Like, it's just what I explained right now when you are peeking corners. So you always want to pre-aim the position where you think the enemy might be. How you do that? You imagine that you already peeked this corner and you place your crosshair at that position where you think the enemy might be. That is the first technique. The second one is pre-shooting. You want to pre-shoot the certain angles if you know that enemy might be there, or if he already played that angle for a lot of times, or if enemy has a SOA player that's always playing like that angle. You can try to pre-shoot him in order to surprise him. You're already going to kill him and he will not know what hit him. Actually, your bullet hit him and he is dead now, and he will have no time to react to your shot. Practice every single map, every single weapon, every single ability, and play the goddamn game. The best way to improve in this game, in movement, strafing, counter-strafing, aiming, abilities, using agents, is to actually play the game. Don't be afraid to lose, don't be afraid to die. You're going to lose a lot of times, you're going to die a lot of times in this game. I didn't become professional player in CSGO and PUBG by only winning. You cannot win every single time. You can just become better and better. And follow this one simple rule: patient, repetition, and daily routine. Set up a daily routine for yourself. For an example, when you wake up, your aim is like shit, you're feeling like crap. Go with the aimbots, go to the practice map and practice your aim. Second thing, repeat everything that I've just told you right here. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Through repetition, you're going to get better and better, but never be mindless. Don't do the mindless repetition where you're just offline and you're like, oh yeah, I'm talking with my mother, I'm talking with my girlfriend, I'm having sex and I'm shooting the targets, yeah, I'm just going here, here. Think, use your mind, use your brain. Try to develop not only your mechanical skill, but also your mindset, your mind to think before you are going to engage in a certain fight. That is a good repetition. The bad repetition is when you are doing things mindlessly. And patience is the key. There is one rule called 21 days, 3 months rule. It takes you 21 days to develop a certain habit. It can be some kind of a bad habit, it can be some kind of a good habit. It can be a habit, for example, to pre-shoot or pre-aim a certain angle. It can be habit to play a guitar for 21 days, etc. It can be anything. It takes you 21 days to inherit a habit, and it actually takes 3 months to keep that habit alive. So you need to practice your aim a lot. You need to practice the game a lot, like at least 3 months, 4 months. You need to perform all of these things every single day. Don't skip any day, and trust me guys, you are going to become a gaming machine's 100%. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. The best thing that you can do right now is hit that subscribe, turn on those goddamn notifications, and spank that bell icon so you don't miss any new content from me, myself, Charlatan. I'm going to teach you some even more great things in future, especially when the ranked matchmaking comes into Valorant. Leave a like on this video, and if you would like to see me cover some other guide or tutorial about Valorant, feel free to leave a comment down below. What do you want to see from me? You can also share this video and spread the word about this channel with everyone you know. It helps me a lot. Down in the description you have other social media where you can follow me for some future live streams and announcements. And you can also join my official Discord server. I want to keep in touch with all of you, my dear friends. I'm yours, one and only, Warden of the Valorant community. Thank you for watching, and cut!